Greetings. Welcome all to Dorsey's Resource. We're now going live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I'm back. You're joining Dorsey's Resource. I'm your host, John Dorsey. And I know it's been a while. I want to thank all my loyal subscribers, all those who have continued to support the channel, continue to rock with me, despite me not going live or doing videos periodically. Your support is greatly appreciated. Those of you all who've gone back, watched my previous videos that I've done, those who have shared them, big shout out to you all. Appreciate you all that have shared the videos in the past. I found out from Discord to Telegram, etc., that have working to get the word out. You guys played a critical role. And I just wanted to give you guys a heads up what I've been up to lately. You guys know, of course, I haven't done videos in a while, not even on my other channel. And maybe I can, if I remember, if I don't forget, I would like to get into some of the reasons why and kind of connect some dots for you all. Without further ado, the topic of this video is going to be in regards to a recent dream I had about a large sum of money. I also put in the title, I also had a dream about HBAR not too long ago. By the way, you guys know I don't really I don't know what to call these. I'm just sharing this. Maybe I can't say that, put a label on this type of video and say this was a prophetic dream, even though in the past I have been prophesied over by, it was a well-known prophet that used to teach classes here some years ago, Prophet Lee Williams. I was since informed by one of my relatives. He's since remarried. He lives out of state. He's in a different state. I think I've heard Denver or Colorado, something like that. I know some people that used to attend this class. One of the ladies used to cut my hair at one time at a barber shop I went to. She was was familiar with them as well. And there was a guy I studied with in the Sovereign movement that used to attend meetings years ago. He was a retired school teacher out of the city of Detroit. He used to attend those classes as well. And this is separate from a relative of mine. So big shout out wherever he's at. I might have some of those prophetic words. One of my relatives actually typed up some notes. He prophesied over me a couple times, by the way. But I just wanted to share this story. Maybe this can be something positive for those who have been wondering what's been going on with the reset, what's been happening with the dinar. I know people have a lot of questions. I had separate notes and a whole separate video for that. So this video, I may not really get into those notes, but I felt maybe this can be positive encouragement, because I was really, after I had these dreams, I'm really feeling really positive. By the way, this dream was from a couple days ago. So we're going into, tomorrow will be Friday, Thursday. So I want to say, actually, I may be wrong. The dream was from, I think, don't quote me on it, either Wednesday or Tuesday. I'm starting to actually lose track. I could trace it back, but I don't want to think too hard. But it was very, very recently. The main dream that I had where I was holding, and I just remember portions of it, but it was very powerful. It was very vivid, clear dream. When I woke up, before I woke up, I had stacks of money, and the dream told me, like, I don't know, it sounded like if it was my brain talking to myself, but you know how dreams can let you know certain information. Sometimes the dream won't tell you, like if you've heard other people interpret dreams. With this particular dream, it told me that this source of money that I had, it wasn't from a government agency that I thought, like, if I've sent paperwork to, I won't say the name, but the dream actually let me know, this particular dream, it wasn't from that. So I was trying to figure out, I said, where did I get all this money from, these stacks of cash? And I was like, I gave my mom in the dream, it's funny to me, I gave her $200. I was like, here. And I think I had a certain amount, so it wasn't limited, but it was a lot. Like, similar to, if you've seen the rap artists in different music videos, or like in the past, Floyd the Money Mayweather, with stacks of what they call bands of cash. Or if you bought foreign currency, and you know, some of it, if you bought, they have it wrapped up, it's real thick, by the way. But this cash was in US dollars or US notes, by the way. And I felt really encouraged. And prior to this, I'm gonna get to this story as well. I had a dream about HBAR. If you're not familiar, HBAR is a particular cryptocurrency. They're going to be moving away from using the term cryptocurrencies. I hear they're actually going, once the regulations and the dust settles down the road, they've already started to use this term. Many people in the cryptocurrency industry or field or whatever you label, you call it, related to Bitcoin, are using the term digital asset. So this particular coin is a digital asset, and I was informed by one of my private sources, gave me confirmation a couple years ago or something, I can't remember exactly when, that he had spoke to a source or someone that confirmed to him, because I actually was already invested in this particular coin as well, but I went even harder in this particular coin after my source told me that his source or whoever he spoke with said he had word or confirmation it was going to go up. And my dream that I had prior to this recent dream was that HBAR, Hedera Hashgraph, from a little bit of this dream that I remember, I woke up, but it was a very vivid, clear dream that it had gone sky high in the price. The last time I checked, I haven't looked at the market lately, but it was like hovering around 7 or 9 cents. I don't know exactly where it's at. I haven't looked at the what do you call, the price charts recently, not since a couple days. When I take a look at other coins, because there's a lot of coins out there, I always try to check the top 100, but definitely, or the top 20 or top 50 that perform well, or it's a reason why they're in the top categories. And I was informed by my private source that I have a while ago that this particular coin, it's been one, I guess I also found out is allegedly one of the chosen coins. Now, I don't know. I'm just going off what my source told me, but I noticed in the past, the reason why I invested in it, because there's a lot of people that are invested in coins, a whole way more coins than I do. I only have a certain amount. I don't really, I haven't really done videos. I don't really like showing my portfolio like some people do or whatnot. And that's cool and everything. Maybe down the road, I was going to do those types of things, but I'm kind of more private when it comes to that. But I've seen, many of you all, of course, if you're familiar with cryptocurrencies, digital assets, you've seen YouTubers are those that are very knowledgeable. It's people, by the way, they're way more knowledgeable than I am that can break the stuff down, because I had a relative that thought that I'm an expert. And I said, well, I know maybe more than, I guess, a lot of people that are just now finding out or doing their research. But there's people that are, I mean, this is like, to me, it reminds me, it's like an underground version of the stock market. And it's like basically it's like another version of stock market or Forex trading. You just got to get familiar with the community and this particular discipline. I think the more you become familiar with the community, the discipline, and you talk to other people and you do your own research, you do your own due diligence, you would understand it better, and it'll kind of prepare you for what's coming down the pipeline, by the way. So I want to get to the chat real quick, just to acknowledge you all here in the building. We have Lynn Hopper in the building, says, hey, sir, appreciate you, Lynn. We got Darren Jackson in the building. Appreciate you, Darren. It's been a minute. Thank you for joining. We got Renee Baskin says, I hold certain dreams in high regard. Yes, appreciate that. Hopefully I don't get too far off track. I don't want to get off in a tangent. I want to try to stay on topic about the dream, but I just wanted to acknowledge you all really quick in the chat section. Lynn Hopper says, he's prophesied to me also. Oh, wow. Okay, you're familiar with Prophet Lee Williams. That's amazing. Together we are one, says, awesome, brother. I have also been having some very prosperous dreams. So glad to see you here tonight. Appreciate it. Thank you for the confirmation. So to get back on topic, the main dream I had like a day or 2 days ago, but it was very recent. I woke up, it was in the afternoon going into the evening. It's like a power nap before I go to work sometimes. Sometimes I'll make myself fall asleep since I have to be up all night at my job. But some people ask me, how do you do it? And I've gotten used to it throughout the years. I take supplements and things like that, so I won't go into all that. But I took a power nap this day, and I woke up like really refreshed, but it was so, you know how you have those dreams where you wake up and it literally feels like it's real, like you were right there, like you can feel it. Like my one friend, maybe I could bring him on as a guest one day. Someone I've known for years. He can actually interpret dreams, and he can explain. This might go deep for some. I have to give a warning or disclaimer. About to take a deep dive, but he could explain how when you dream or sleep at even at night, most people have their dreams. He says you leave your body. Actually, you're in a different plane. So for those, some people it may be hard for them to conceptualize these concepts, to comprehend. So that's why I would say I would have to give a disclaimer before I brought him on as a guest, or really take a deep dive. I don't want to go too deep, but that's how I felt when I woke up. To kind of give you guys an idea, I'm still kind of feeling the reals, the effects of it. And I don't have dreams like this that often, but this dream, it was a very lucid dream. It was a very, very clear dream. When I woke up, the part that I remember very clearly. In this particular dream, the part that I remember, I gave my mom some money. It was still a certain amount, but I felt comfortable. Like, and then I was contemplating in the dream whether or not I was going to quit my job or not. I was saying to myself in real time, like that's why I felt so real, like that I was contemplating quitting. That part of the dream I do remember. I was going kind of back and forth I was battling with myself, like this is a significant amount. I was like, whoa, I've never had this type of money before, basically. And it was like I don't even know if I got this from the bank. I don't even know how people order. I've heard in the past you can order if you have a certain amount. If you're a high roller, you have a high net worth, you're a baller, people order, it may take some time to get to the bank, because I hear they don't have like, or keep all that cash on hand, because they actually want to bring us to a cashless society. By the way, that's why I brought up digital assets. And it's funny, I had the dream about HBAR not too long ago, but it was a while back, not too far back. But this dream was more recent. And this particular dream, I recall I had a lot of money, and I was like, where did I get this from? And it wasn't from, the dream told me, it let me know it wasn't from any paperwork that I filed with this particular government agency. I don't want to say the name for people that know about that or know about that discipline or whatever. It wasn't from that. So it wasn't a check from the you know what. And I was like, what other way was it? From one of the prosperity programs I invested in the past? Is that getting ready to happen or come about? Because I was told, and I got some really good news just last night. Someone told me the dinar was trading as IQD on online and the stock market. I don't remember exactly, but I guess it's close or it's getting ready. That's more indication that things are getting ready to actually happen. And I think these dreams are basically, I think, in my opinion, I think this is a warning from the Most High, the Creator, that's telling me that those that have little faith, be patient, just hold on, that this is confirmation that something's getting ready to happen. This is how I interpret it. I can't say exactly, but it's like this was like God or the Creator, whatever name, the deity, you tell them, the source told me that something, that this was confirmation that this is close. Whatever is happening, I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. I've always said this to you guys in the past. I do know that the banking system is changing. I've heard, whether we like it or not, there's some things coming down the line. I know you guys have heard about the CBDC. We've heard about different ways to prepare, also holding physical precious metals. In that regard, it's important. Different ways. You want digital assets. I heard the dinars would be classified, or Vietnamese dong or foreign currency, that would be classified as like paper assets. Of course, cryptocurrencies are considered digital assets. And then you have real estate, like brick and mortar buildings will be like a form of hard assets, or another form of, when I heard people refer to assets like that, wealth building in that regard. But I'm not involved in that yet. But to kind of give you guys an idea, but you want to be prepared. So I guess the dreams appear as though it was the creator letting me know that something is getting ready to happen. He was kicking my heels like, fear not, that the doubts that you have, that this is real. And I was thinking about, I mentioned this in the past doing a video. I've never done this before, where you guys know I don't really talk about the dinar. I don't really do videos, but I know some people are still curious as far as what's happening, what's going on. And that's why last night I was actually giving some news. I just happened to randomly call a friend of mine down south or whatever. He's not really one of my sources, but just someone I talk to every now and then. We stay abreast in our discipline. And he was with someone else at the time, and they mentioned, the person reminded him that they saw the actual dinar. They saw it show up. And then I've heard, in case you guys don't know, big shout out to Dr. Kia Pruitt. Before her channel, before she blew up, by the way, she actually reached out to me. I've known who she was a long time ago. I believe it was through Facebook. We chatted briefly a while ago. So I commend the work she's doing. All the intel providers, people out there that are real, that have stayed true, and it's been in the trenches, because I tell you, I have been under attack by the enemy. You guys, I told you guys, I mentioned in the past, there was people, they didn't want me doing videos talking about the dinar and stuff. Years ago, I didn't tell you guys about the threats and stuff I kind of received. It was being relayed through another, like a third party. But it was mentioned even in the past that they suggested you take those particular videos down. And in the way these people do things, I don't know. They don't go into details. They're like, you just better do it, or it's like, we're going to send our goons after you. And I'm like, I need some more information to kind of understand what do you mean? But that's why I appreciate you guys' prayers. Those of you all who have prayed for me. I met someone, the light workers out there, someone who reached out to me. We've spoken briefly, and she said she upheld me in her prayers, and I appreciate that she was going to cover me, and she did some things, because I am open to other traditions and other faiths as well. I'm open-minded, and I appreciate that, the insight, because this person felt that I was exposing the Kabbalists and some other people, and they had reached out and said, because I was being so upfront with the names and stuff, they said they wanted to put, I guess, protection spells, or pray for protection over me, by the way, because of what they understood, what I was exposing. By the way, that these people, certain particular people in a cabal, are very, very evil. They want depopulation agenda. They want, of course, the evil ones, they want to bring in a central bank digital currency that is controllable, that will tie you into the social credit system. They don't have our best interest at heart. But I heard, allegedly, I don't know the difference, there's another cabal group, basically, because a cabal is still a cabal, but I guess there's another group, a faction of them that are not as evil. I've heard some of them are their relatives or family members, and they don't agree, because they know that their other family members that are evil, very evil, would destroy the whole planet, and they don't want to see the whole planet, everything destroyed. So they're trying to, I hear there's allegedly a fight going on at these high levels between these Illuminati family members and the ruling class, allegedly, and they don't see eye to eye. And the really evil ones want depopulation. I know this is some of the stuff Dave Smith used to talk about. If you remember the Sedona connection, and I heard that was a scandal or something happened with him. But I used to listen to Dave from time to time. I felt his information was good. I listen to everybody. I listen to Mark Z, TNT Tony. I listen to, going way back, I listen to Frank, Mountain Goat. I read the website Dinar Detectives, Dinar Guru, DinarRecaps.com. It's been a while since I've looked at those sites. I've listened to Bruce, the Big Call Universe. I've listened to the Truth Call, the Truth Call with Willie, a whole number of conference calls throughout the years. Many years ago, Randy Kuntz, I used to listen to some of his calls. So I've listened out the years and gathered a plethora of lots of information. And I've been knowing about this particular type of investment. It's going on almost, not quite, almost 20 years. I knew about the dinar. I remember it being brought up at private meetings I used to attend, going back as far as 2006, I can recall. And then I didn't make my first purchase till a friend told me towards the end of the year, December of 2010. I had a friend that I'm still in contact with. He's a lot older now, that was investing in it longer than me. My friend, he was investing in it since 2003 and told me, I believe, he's still holding it. So he's been knowing about it since for like this over 20 years now. And he told me, he called me sometime towards the end of 2010, and I didn't make my first purchase until around March of 2011. That's when I purchased my dinars for the first time. I won't say from where it was online before I found out about these local brick and mortar locations that used to sell it. And then I talked to different people years prior, used to pick it up from the bank. That's how I knew confirmation that I was like, if it's a scam, how is it a scam when major banks used to sell this currency? So you think all of a sudden they just decided to completely abandon it, get rid of it? Or you think maybe the banking system changed and they changed with how they're going to trade them back in, trade these notes back in, or paper assets? So I'll let you be the judge. That's why I said I didn't really, because I got attacked. I had some guy, just so you guys know, I don't know who this is, because it's funny when people like to attack you, they use these ghost accounts that's not real names, and this person was under the name Adam.cast. So I don't know who Adam.cast is, by the way, but they came to my Instagram page and they left a message, said, you're still pushing this dinar stuff. No, I'm not pushing anything. I'm just sharing my testimony of what was shared with me. There's different intel providers provided information throughout the years from many different aspects. Some people will focus on Iraq's government or what's going on over there with their central bank digital currency. Some people would refer to private banking sources they had over here in the States. So the rabbit hole can go deep, but I'm only just sharing my information. I don't work for anyone. I'm not getting paid. I'm just sharing from my experience, and you're welcome to go to someone else's channel if you don't like that. You know, that's fine. Whoever that person was, by the way. So I'm just kind of sharing that. Hold on real quick, guys. Okay, I'm back. So when I just share these stories, this is just from my experience. No, sometimes that's why a lot of times I give a disclaimer that the information contained herein is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. It's also can be for educational purposes and entertainment purposes, because YouTube is some people watch videos for entertainment as well, not just for the education, in case you're wondering. So that's why that's in the disclaimer. Please, as always, do your own homework. And it's encouraged that you seek a competent professional at your own leisure. Dorsey's Resource Channel and all previous videos and videos in the future are not liable or responsible for anyone's misuse of the information. You are responsible, everyone, for their own commercial affairs, unless you hire a professional or conservator, but that's up to you. It is encouraged. Just putting it out there. These are my opinions. So you've indemnified Dorsey's Resource, all rights reserved. So never ever is any of the information that I share financial, securities advice, legal advice. It's encouraged. You know, always seek a professional. If you feel otherwise, then there's other channels, other places to look at. YouTube has a plethora of information. But if you do appreciate the information, the thumbs up are greatly appreciated. That lets me know, guys, and it lets the haters know how you guys feel. If you guys still want me to put out the information that I do, or let you all know, that's confirmation. When you guys like the video, thumbs up. It also helps me rank higher in the search results. But back to the story. So I had this dream recently, the little bit that I woke up from, It felt really encouraging, really promising that I remember stacks of cash. It was a significant amount of currency. I remember I gave my mom, I was like, here, I just gave her like, threw her $200. And I was trying to figure out, but the dream is funny. I was trying to figure out, where did it come from? I was wondering if it came from something else I was part of some years ago, if it was related to the DTC, Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. I don't know, or was it related to something else, another separate transaction? So that's what I was trying to figure out. But it seemed like it was imminent. And when I woke up from this dream, it felt so real. Like, you wake up from a dream sometimes, it's like your heart is racing. It's like you can feel it, like you were right there. Like you literally feel like, and my friend told me, my one friend can explain this stuff really well. Because he says, you're actually somewhere else when you dream or go to sleep at night. You actually leave your body or whatever. But it literally felt after I woke up. And before I woke up, the dream told me, it's like it knew to tell me that the funds, this didn't come from me doing a transaction with the government, particular government agency. It wasn't a check from this particular, it wasn't money coming from that. It was from something else. And I was like, where did all this cash come from? So I just wanted to share this, by the way, this information as particular encouragement for those out there who might have doubts whether or not this particular information is real. You may be wondering. Looks like we got a visitor in here. Okay. So I just wanted to give you guys confirmation, by the way, that when in doubt, it seems like that this is never going to happen. But based off the information that I've gone over in the past, and I know many of you all have heard that video about the guy the testimony of the guy that went to the bank and shared what he was told, what he was informed about. That was very positive. I had my dream about HBAR, Hedera hash graph, not too long after that particular video dropped. And this was prior to my recent dream. And the video, I felt real good when I woke up from the dream I had about HBAR, that it went up to a large amount of money. And I was like, whoa, I was like, how could it go up that high? I mean, it was like, literally, but it didn't, the dream didn't give me a price, but it's like, it just let me know I felt in my heart, whatever I was holding, it went up to like a large amount. And it would make sense because it seemed like as long as they've been suppressing it, because I would have thought compared to the last bull market we had, compared to 2021, compared to this year, it seemed like certain coins should have gone way higher than they were. But one of my sources also told me, by the way, in case you're wondering, it seemed like it's back in the hands. I heard the IMF, by the way, in case you're wondering, had been stalling the dinar. I remember some years ago, it would switch hands. At one time, it was the U.S. Treasury was stalling it. And they actually have some type of connection with the IMF. They each have, I guess, offices in Washington, D.C. as well. I had a friend of mine, when we were going down there, traveling to D.C. one time, it actually showed on this particular map that he had all these different offices. And I said, D.C. is like an international hub. It has all these different offices that I've heard that appear to be international. And I was like, where did these locate? They were right on this map. So there's some type of connection. One of my sources, I won't even try to explain it. But remember also, what makes the dinar legitimate. Remember, guys, years ago, Bush signed an executive order to allow United States citizens to purchase Iraqi dinar. If you remember, you can look it up. That executive order was 130033 or something like that. But look up the executive order. Former President Bush, the son, remember his father, Daddy Bush, was in office, but the son, the one that was in office before Obama, he signed or passed an executive order some years ago. Don't quote me exactly what year it was, that allowed this as legitimacy to it. Why would they, if the dinar was a scam or was totally completely bogus, why would he pass an executive order to allow United States citizens to purchase it? This is what one of my sources brought up. I also went over why would these particular top tier banks used to sell it, and I've got confirmation. One of my other friends I hadn't talked to in a long time, I got a chance to talk to like a few days ago. And I remember years ago, he told me a similar testimony. He had picked dinar up from Fifth Third Bank. Had another source told me he picked it up from Fifth Third Bank. One of my other private sources told me he used to go to Chase Bank and pick it up. And I know Vietnamese Dong, by the way, for what was shared with TNT Tony, who I've never met before. And based off that information, I saw at a Chase Bank 2 different locations, by the way, where I've always heard stories that the Vietnamese Dong and the dinar were joined at the hip like brother and sister. And he was saying you can go in there and order it. Now, I can't speak for now because I haven't really been keeping up with the calls like that, because I put this stuff on the back burner because I don't really do videos. But I'm just giving my opinion from another aspect, another angle. But I hear that this is tied into this whole big global currency reset, not to be confused with the evil cabal reset that they want. But this is something else. And a debt jubilee, this is something was supposed to take place a long time ago. But of course, it appears the cabal has been holding this up, the evil ones. And I was informed that this particular cryptocurrency was being suppressed. Not only XRP, it was mentioned, and one of my sources told me there's a guy that's I guess he's connected. His channel, he knows, I guess, he's on the inside, real high up. I don't know if you guys have heard of I think it's Black Swan YouTube channel. He told me, my source told me recently, said Black Swan admitted that he made a mistake and violated one of his non-disclosure agreements. Because I hear that the people allegedly at Ripple or different companies had to sign NDAs, and they can't release or talk about certain information. But there's you guys know, not from me, but there's been whistleblowers, there's been leakers throughout the years. And I guess this particular channel was admitting he made a mistake, and I guess leaked the information out that the IMF or whatever was one of the entities. So this proves, I said this to you guys a long time ago, so I have a theory dealing with something else, that they control the cryptocurrency market just like they control the stock market, and they can suppress prices. Look what happened to the short squeeze when that GameStop situation happened some years ago. Remember Robinhood? People had the app, they were forcing people to sell. And my friend told me that let him know at the time they didn't want people to become rich, a certain faction of the cabal or whatever. They want to keep people poor. These are very, very evil people. And then you saw what they did with the pandemic. They want population reduction. They want to create artificial scarcity. They want to create a one world government. I've known this for a very long time. From what I was informed years ago, that's why they started the European Union. They created the Asian Union, the African Union, and the American Union. And I remember Lou Dobbs, a former reporter for CNN some years ago, he was punished for bringing up NAFTA or whatever, and how this was tied in, I guess, with the UN or a treaty. The U.S. would have where they would set up a one world body politic where it would take over your local and state politicians. They would be ruled by the United Nations, World Economic Forum, where basically who those are really gets into the ruling class elite, which they're aligned with one another. The World Economic Forum or Davos group, that's the daylight version of the Bilderberg organization, which is tied in with the G20 summit and all that. That's where they summons top CEOs of corporations, heads of state, potentates, diplomatic, tech giants, people in agriculture, health industry, you name it. Remember, Klaus Schwab bragged about having certain people under control of the World Economic Forum. He bragged about Justin Trudeau, who's the guy out of France. Can't think of the other prime minister offhand that he mentioned. He was a member, and they were behind this Paris Agreement. They also are using climate change as a cover, by the way, to push their agenda of carbon tax or carbon credits, because eventually their end game is really evil. Their diabolical, sinister agenda. They want to get rid of currency altogether and create something called carbon credits, which will charge you based off your carbon usage, your carbon footprint, they call it, which could be your carbon consumption, which could tie in based off, everything would be calculated based off the energy that you use, the air that you breathe. This is how they're going to figure out a slick way, like the movie Total Recall years ago. They're going to charge people or society, because at one time, water bills used to be free. You can look up, talk to some of your grandparents or people that were around years ago. They'll tell you water was free. It's from the planet. See, the elites of cabal, the things that were meant, because the birds and bees and nature, they don't charge each other to use the trees and the leaves and the nature, what Mother Nature has available. But these cabal people, it's about control with them, especially these satanic Kabbalists, the really evil ones. They want population reduction. They want wars. They brag at their Bilderberg meetings. I've heard in the past, they talk about, we want big war, because war is death. You have war bonds. That's why I told you guys, go watch the movie Money Masters, Monopoly Men, Ring of Power, Empire of the City, Monopoly Men, Money Masters. If you haven't, never checked out those documentaries, it would behoove you to. You can watch them for free on YouTube. If YouTube still has it, if you do have the funds or you have deep pockets or you're a high roller, don't hesitate to purchase those people's DVDs, because there's people, they risked their lives sharing this information years ago. Wasn't like today. There was people that laid their lives down. There was people that were gang stalked. They were like Ted Gunderson, rest in peace, God rest his soul. He helped investigate child sex trafficking victims when the FBI years ago and Homeland Security wasn't even around. And him and another guy named Mark, they rescued a woman and helped investigate and found out it was leading to these satanic rings. They uncovered Michael Aquino with the Church of Set, by the way, who was connected to Anton LaVey with the Church of Satan. Also, there's a video, watch, if you're a Christian, if you're a born-again Christian or you're a believer, it would behoove you. I do investigative research, by the way, forensic research, really in depth. My mind works differently than the average person, but I look at things in a meticulous manner. But look at the video. It's a guy from South Africa. He's a former Satanist, and if you have the ability to download this video, I won't spoil it for you, but no spoiler alert. But if you get a chance, check out, type in former Satanist exposes, and he answered my questions when I watched the video, some questions that I had. So the Church of Satan was also created as a political organization to counter Christians. And I said, that makes sense. That answered one of my questions and some other questions I had from it some years ago. And one of the things he brought up, he talked about the children coming up missing. So I want to say, this is not no QAnon conspiracy theory or Pizzagate stuff, as certain members of the House of Representatives that happen to be liberal, progressive, will try to have you believe. They were trying to cover it up. As you remember, if you followed that years ago, before people started having their YouTube channels censored, deleted, David Seaman was a former writer of the Huffington Post. He helped uncover, through his investigative research, as well as others, by the way, that discovered certain people were not necessarily famous, but people they connected. They used some of the same data that FBI had discovered that they used to go after child traffickers and emblems. People saw that these particular parties, when they started to decrypt this encryption, this actually happened some years ago. they went on these people's Instagram pages and Twitter accounts. They were public. They weren't even set to private yet. But of course, when people started to get wind of this, and the Kabbalists themselves started to do damage control and cover, they started locking their accounts up. They started locking their profiles, their Twitter accounts, their Instagram accounts. And that's how allegedly I found out there's the wife of a particular music artist. I kept wondering why she was being attacked, because all these people, they got on the case like they're like internet detectives. Oh, they blew me away. I didn't know. I said, wow. People were doing the research, and I kept wondering. I said, why are they attacking Chrissy Teigen? I didn't know who she was. I was like, why are they attacking her? And before a lot of these people started locking their accounts up or, setting it to private, but they had already, some of them had screenshot and took capture, and they compared notes and they did videos, and they connected the dots. And remember, WikiLeaks, they just released Julian Assange. God bless his soul, and his leaker who was killed, that worked as an IT professional in information technology for the Democratic National Convention, the DNC, some years ago. Seth Rich, remember, he was the after he was murdered, Julian Assange mentioned, he came on TV. I forgot how he said it, but it's believed to be what he described. One of his leakers he got wind of that was murdered was connected. I guess some of the information, this deep, real heavy stuff was coming out. That's how I found out about stuff about Justice Antonin Scalia, the Supreme Court justice that was murdered. Remember, Obama had these two big cases that had to be ruled on, the healthcare thing, the gay marriage, and Justice Antonin Scalia wasn't playing ball with them, and he met with them. And there was these emails they found with these coded names from Hillary Clinton and Obama. They were using code names, and John Podesta. And then John Podesta, I guess, was talking about doing wet work. And I guess wet work, and I've never been in the military, but I guess that's a code term for when they murk somebody or take somebody out. They use that to describe wet work or a plot, how they murdered somebody. It's believed to be they murdered Justice Antonin Scalia. See, I just gave you context to understand, so it doesn't sound conspiratorial what I'm mentioning. That's the point reference. Remember, you also had Anthony Weiner. You don't hear too much from his laptop. Remember, they discovered after NYPD detectives discovered, remember the Wienergate thing? Remember before Leno was taken off the air, he used to make jokes and stuff. He was caught. Don't remember his political position. You have to look him up. You can find it up. Pretty sure on Wikipedia. I don't know if he was a member of House of Representatives or what. I don't remember what position he served, but remember he was caught sending images to a minors. Considered illegal texting, and one thing led to another, and the NYPD police got a hold of his laptop, and they turned the information over to the FBI. But somebody saved the information because they didn't follow through. The Justice Department didn't follow through the investigation. And remember, Obama's Attorney General at the time, Loretta Lynch, threatened that if the New York NYPD police officers were threatening to release a press conference if this information wasn't released, and Loretta Lynch turned around and blackmailed them and told them that if you release the information, then we're going to charge NYPD police officers in the Eric Gardner situation. So they use that as blackmail. And I heard a lot of those police officers detectives committed suicide, but they were horrified at what they saw, and the information had been put out on the deep web, or somebody was smart enough to put it out on the dark web, so it would get into certain hands, and they were horrified by what they saw. And there was allegedly rumors, and this is just alleged. This hasn't been proven, that allegedly Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin, her advisor, was seen on video footage scanning a little girl's face. By the way, allegedly. I remember Tank, who did the Truth Cause some years ago, talked about this. I don't know if Tank is still around or still does conference calls, but YouTube, which is controlled by the evil cabal, the Kabbalists, the Satanists, that's why they shut down my other channel. So the reason I'm going more in depth on here, I'm not afraid. Screw them, and they're scared. More people are waking up. Remember, when you wake people up, it scares them. It frightens the new order. So the best thing you can do is vote for Trump and wake people up to the new order. They're frightened, telling you they're terrified. at the fact they're trying to convince you. Me and a friend of mine were discussing this today about the numbers of Black and Hispanic people that support Trump. They want you to think as otherwise. And to prove this, I've seen, but I won't go into that because I don't want to give any ideas to some of this particular platform. But I've seen the evidence, by the way, because you can say through certain channels out there I've discovered, and I read the comments, and I'm like, was surprised. There's a lot of Black people who rock with Trump hard, and it was women who were commenting in the comment section and said they were voting. One sister saying she's voting for Trump again. Now, of course, people use anonymity because in some instances they need to, because you have cancel culture, and because the left, the deep state, is so criminally embedded in many different elements of our government and corporations and stuff. They try to blackmail and punish people if you don't go along to get along, or go along with the narrative or the agenda. It shows you how evil they are. They are the actual dictators, the authoritarians. Everything they accuse Trump of, this is not coming from the Republican Party. Those are fucking Democrats doing that. Look at this is censorship they're doing. It's funny how the Supreme Court, not too long ago, freedom of speech case, because it's wondering if TikTok is going to stay around. But this ties in with this freedom of speech stuff. You got to ask the question, why did a lower court found the Biden administration, and this was a federal court, like this, it was taken to the Supreme Court. But I hear it's one other case. I don't know if they have to rule on, but I know some people were hurt because it didn't go in their direction. But a lower court actually found the Biden administration had colluded with big tech companies and censoring conservatives and people with social media, which is highly illegal. That part is criminal. It violates certain election laws or other laws. Don't quote me exactly, but there's people who that's their expertise. But I've had it gone over. I've listened to other judges, and they bring on panels of lawyers from Fox and others that go over a critique. These are people that actually have credentials, that have law licenses, and going into the depth what you can, what you can't do when running for office, and what is pay for play, how Democrats are laundering money. So that's a whole nother scandal that's being covered up that even Fannie Willis is connected to, by the way, because they want to make Trump out to be like he's the bad guy. When I pointed out, when you find out the real media, the mainstream media reported on the real information, it will blow a lot of people away. Trust me. You would be stunned. In my opinion, I know some people say, well, Dorsey, the Republicans are bad too. They're just as bad as the Democrats. Yeah, I get that. I heard about Cocaine Mitch and the stuff. I don't know. A friend of mine was telling me some stories I don't know about, but yeah, I get where you guys are coming from. But in my opinion, I've seen way more corruption from the Democratic Party than I have the Republican Party. Just my opinion. Their neighborhoods seem to be more destructive and destructive condition, where people that generally vote conservative or Republican, statistically across the board, their neighborhoods where the people live at in different cities, states, places, tends to be in better shape. That's another indication. For years, I've lived in very progressive liberal cities, so I should know, coming from, growing up, poor middle class, I've seen a thing here or there. Just putting it out there, just in my opinion. But hey, everybody to each his own. I respect everybody's opinion at the end of the day. But it's in my opinion, I've seen a lot more dirt corruption. So you had a lower court before the Supreme Court made the ruling and were saying they can't come after these tech giants. I hope they really get it together, because that lower court, that was a federal court, had found, and even the House did a separate investigation. Jim Jordan and the House Democrats found major corruption. You had the accounts in Ukraine, the money laundering, and Obama had to know about it. I found out years ago. They were using Ukraine to launder money. Members of the House of Representatives, they have access to certain information the general public doesn't. So they know about the U.S. bioweapons labs before Google scrubbed the maps off the internet. Remember, if you go to my Instagram page, those of y'all who are smart, scroll through, I put the maps over there. I downloaded them and look up. But Google, it looks like they scrubbed that information. And they have bioweapons labs worldwide, not just Ukraine. But the media likes to play, how can I put it, quarterback or tailback when it comes to backing up the fraud. And that's why they created this thing called fact check, which is actually created to cover up actual true truths, and they try to make the things that seem preposterous that people report on, they try to make it seem conspiratorial, or say like you flew over the cuckoo's nest, or they try to get people to brush it off as conspiracy theory. That's why they always accuse Alex Jones of being a conspiracy theorist, or say right wing, or QAnon. Those are trigger words. Remember the CIA years ago, back in the 60s, if you know the history, CIA, FBI, the two organizations are closely aligned. They created the term conspiracy theory. Look it up. It's history behind the term conspiracy theory. They use that to create like a scapegoat. So in case you're not aware of that, I'm giving you guys the context to look up. I know you guys are learning action-packed information as usual, because I'm going to cover that. I'm not afraid to go over what some out there are afraid, but I'm helping you guys connect the dots, connect the pieces, and stay informed. By the way, remember, the devil, the enemy, comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So these Kabbalists, this thing is real. They're into this stuff. But look up, you Christians out there, if you're born again believer, if you're in a spirituality, you're a light worker, look up the video. He was being interviewed by a guy. The host was neutral. Seems like the host wasn't into religion at all or anything. He was pretty neutral. But it was a good interview where this former Satanist, he became a born again Christian. And he was based out of South Africa. And he names someone towards the end of the interview. I already knew this already, but I'm gonna give you guys. Some people say I'm a good storyteller. Thank you. Out there, when I'm on Telegram, a lady sister over there mentioned she likes the stories that I tell. Appreciate it. And that's what I'm thinking about doing, is changing my channel to basically where I tell you guys stories, like story time, or make it like bedtime, late night story time. So make a long story short, this former Satanist mentions the truth about Satanism. He became a born again Christian. He exposes it. He was high up, and he says they have different positions, but they're embedded. There's heads of CEOs of corporations, famous people. He said some people he couldn't name, some people he was still friends with, which I understand. I know how that works, and plus he was originally under a non-disclosure agreement. So the first video, he couldn't mention certain things, but listen to the updated video that he did. Look for his more current video, and if you have the software, make sure you download the video, archive it in case YouTube decides that something happens down the road, they decide to try to get rid of it, so you would have it as reference. But he names, towards the end of it, he tells the host, there's a lady who had a school years ago in Africa who was part of this. And remember, I came under some flack, some scrutiny a while ago behind the scenes. Some people that know me in person that watch my videos, and they say, oh, there's no way that person could be involved. And I say, oh, she's deep in this thing. I won't say her name, but this video, I told a friend of mine recently, this interview was confirmation. He named this person, and I knew about this because according to certain sources, and Alex Jones Infowars Band.video, which I recommend going there, has reported when she was very close to Harvey Weinstein. And Weinstein was very close to Jeffrey Epstein. So put the two together. And remember, this person whose name I'm not mentioning, that was a former music artist. When he started to say something, his name was Seal. He did a song on the Batman movie soundtrack some years ago. He won a Grammy Award for it. He named this person. He said, how are you part of this other movement? He said, you were part of this thing. He called basically pretending, and then he got attacked where he had to shut up basically. But there's an actual article where there's a lady who actually mentions she's from overseas, and she names this particular person and another famous model for actually luring her in to Harvey Weinstein. I'm just not saying the names of this individual, but in this interview, he names this person as very wealthy. She's a woman. And he said she had a school in Africa many years ago. And he said, he basically told the host, and I was like, whoa, I already knew who he was talking about and confirmation. And I said, I've never met this guy before, but that's synchronicity, guys. You connect the dots. And I have to say this person's name at all, but I'll let you fill in the pieces, allegedly, because remember, I did give a disclaimer, but I didn't say this person's name at all. But I said a while ago, I did say the person's name in a previous video, and I said, oh, she's deep in this thing. And I mean, you women out there, I'm just saying to the sisters, don't be fooled. Just like you're watching a movie, sometimes certain movies, the person that's pretending to be the good guy the whole time, the person you thought was the good guy, good person or good woman, is actually can double cross you or is leading you or has a dark side that you didn't know about that's covered up. Or the person that you thought is the bad guy, sometimes you come to find out they're actually the good guy. But they had to go undercover or they had to go in that position, but they have things flipped around, and you have to be careful with the mainstream media. Notice when they attack a certain individual or they pick a side, you guys got to use critical thinking, and you got to look at every issue, every political issue. Yeah, it's not a perfect situation. I was having a discussion with a friend of mine's wife earlier today, and I said, yeah, and someone else, and I said, yeah, you are forced to pick a different side. You're forced overall, but look at each political issue, or look at the fact when the media has picked out who the boogeyman or the bad guy or the bad person is. Got to pay attention to that. Why are they attacking this person? Do your research behind what they're saying. Don't just buy the news or what David Muir from ABC Nightly News or Lester Holt from NBC Nightly News. Don't just buy what they're telling you, or CNN or MSNBC with Joy Reid or Rachel Maddow are telling. Investigate. Do your research. Use critical thinking. Do what I do. You can get it out of books. I recommend David Icke's book, Children of the Matrix. That's what helped wake me up years ago. Found out former sex trafficking victim, Kathy O'Brien, out of Muskegon, Michigan. So I found out she did interviews. This stuff, some of this stuff is public information. It's already been reported on. Just like Jerry Sandusky remember at Penn State. Remember that was all in the news some years ago. Huh? How is that possible? If QAnon is such a conspiracy theory, how is it we have the Anthony Weiner laptop? Remember how I went over that information. You also had Hunter Biden's laptop. They didn't tell you about that aspect, what they found, other than just the drugs and gun stuff. There was some other stuff that the guy from that was an IT professional at his computer shop, what he found on there, former Green Beret, saw him in an interview, was stunned by what he described. This real actual stories, folks. But why is it MSNBC don't, Joy Reid, Rachel Maddow, they won't give you those details? Because they have an agenda. And they're also pushing an alphabet agenda too. So this is another reason why they don't want to share certain things with you, because they don't want to expose their minions or their masters that they report to, because they're underlings. They're higher ups. They're afraid. Like the diddler. Yeah, you got other women. You got women part of this, deep in this thing too. So don't let the smooth taste fool you that it's just men who are into this stuff, or that men are masculine or chauvinistic or sexist or evil. No, you have women. Don't be naive out there. I'm telling you, sisters, I'm saying this with love. Each and every woman that watches, listens to my videos, use discernment. Be wise. Use discernment, because you have women that are deeply in this thing, and you'd be surprised what you find out. But don't let it be in a situation where it's too late, while we still have the chance to fight and expose these people. They are losing. The New World Order is scared. I'm telling you, they're scared shitless right now, literally. I keep abreast. That's why they're desperate. Some of the moves they're making, they're trying to start World War III. I heard about the meeting in D.C. A friend of mine told me that's down there, gave me intel. They got NATO tanks and stuff. They're trying to start World War III and things. They're desperate. They're desperate, folks. So, but be aware, use discernment, do your research, use critical thinking. Don't take my word for what I say. That's why I'm so confident in what I'm sharing, because it's already been reported on. It's in books. A lot of this stuff. You had Jerry Sandusky scandal. Look at what the USA Gymnasts with Simone Biles and remember Larry Nassar with USA Gymnastics. He was convicted. Remember the guy that used to do the Subway commercials? What's his name? Jared Fogle or whatever. He was remember what he was into. Remember the Nexium sex cult. Remember the actor Allison Mack pled guilty and she wasn't even the ringleader. Remember they had to get tattooed and stuff. Remember Richard Branson was connected to that. Remember there was a lady whistleblower came on Dr. Phil's show, said there was another guy that had a private island. This other lady who was a whistleblower, she was trafficked years ago, kidnapped or controlled as a sex slave by these traffickers when she told her story. Look up Peter Nygaard. Look up who these people, who they are. You want to check out that video of that former guy, that the ex-Satanist. Look that up. If you're a born-again Christian believer, I'm just sharing, relaying the information. So I kind of got maybe off track. I'm going to get to you guys' comment and maybe go over my dream some more. You guys know I have a tendency to do that, but I appreciate each and every one of you all here. Bianca Lagarde says, hi, Dorsey. Favor upon you, brother. Much love. Appreciate you. Together We Are One says, I think that you are smart for not sharing your portfolio with people. That's so personal. And what good can come from random people knowing what you're holding? Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Appreciate that. Yep, that's one of the reasons why Star Sourcer says, good evening, Dorsey and all. Appreciate you, Star Sourcer. Star Sourcer says, just join in crazy dreams of such abundance. Yes. Abe says, your prayers. Says, good to see you, brother. Yup. Says Seth Rich. Yup, he was the whistleblower leaker that was believed to be a murder. I remember Donna Brazile mentioned it's around the time I think Debbie Wasserman Schultz stepped down from the DNC, Democratic National Convention, and when Donna Brazile took over, she apologized or said on MSNBC she felt she was responsible, I guess, to a degree. Who else? Abe says NCSWIC. Okay. Not sure what that means. Hold the Line says, hi, Dorsey. Hold the Line says, I wish you good health and good wealth with you. Let me post that. He says, I wish you good health and good wealth with you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Abe Vamis says, Mother Teresa says, really, man, said Fauci's father, Mother Teresa. Okay. Sounds like that's okay. That's probably based on some of the info I just went over earlier. I'm just now getting to the comments. Sounds like that's who you're talking about. I could be wrong though. Okay. This person, I'll give you a hint, had a famous TV show years ago. But listen, look up this the video. He's an ex-Satanist. I don't remember his name, but he was being interviewed. He had a first interview. He mentioned he couldn't release as much information because he was under a non-disclosure agreement. But his latest video, his more recent one, I mean, since the one I've watched, I don't know if he's done any other videos since then. He said he told the interviewer, he said there was a lady who had a school in South, because I guess he was in Johannesburg. I could hear the accent in his voice. Johannesburg, South Africa. Because, you know, Satanism is worldwide, by the way. So, yeah, watch that video. It will give you a hint. I didn't say the person's name, by the way. Abe says, R. Kelly, Kanye, OJ all have RICO charges. The news won't tell us. Yeah, okay, yep. Well, I've heard a lot. Yep, a lot of stuff going on. Yep. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on. You know, names I don't want to. I'm not going to say, but you can say I've said in previous videos. But I'll let you connect the dots. You all connect the pieces. Go back, go and look up on YouTube. Do the search. Look up if you're born again Christian, or you're a believer, or hey, you're just curious. Look up the video, the ex-Satanist. He'll answer a lot of questions. Why Satanism? Why they created it? It was started by the Church of Satan. Was started by Anton LaVey. It's also created as a political organization to counter conservatives, also to help the Kabbalists, the evil ones, bring in their sick agenda. Because remember, they're into not only kidnapping children, but organ trafficking, the whole 9 yards as well. Also, look up the interview of Allie Carter. Go on Rumble, look up the Stu Peters interview with Allie Carter. Look that interview up. It would behoove you. Is more confirmation. Look up the Allie Carter interview with Stu Peters. Also, look up who Noreen Gosh was. Look up Noreen Gosh. If you never heard of her before, she's the mother that was pushed for legislation what led to the modern day Amber Alert system. Look up Noreen Gosh. Look up the story of her son, Johnny Gosh. Look that up. If you get a chance, look up Ted Gunderson. Look that story up. You can go on Rumble. If you can't find some of this on YouTube, go to Rumble, go to BitChute, go to other search engines. Look up if all the information hasn't been completely scrubbed from the internet. But archive it, download it, archive it, because the Kabbalists, they want to get rid of the information. They want to brainwash people for the future, for their new world order. They want slaves. They want what's called a brave new world. It's a movie done some years ago. They want an Orwellian 1984 future. They don't want an informed general public. So archive the information. This is a warning. Download it if you have the software. There's tutorial videos. We'll teach you how to do this stuff so you have the evidence. So in case another program down the road that counters YouTube, by the way, where you can monetize, Rumble is one of them, but there may be others coming. You'll have the information archives, or if in case something happens to Rumble, if the Kabbalists or the George Soroses of the world try to buy it and turn it evil, like they've done many other platforms, like Google did to Daily Motion and other video platforms that have freedom of speech. That's what they do to try to counter it. You will have the information archived to be able to share it in lectures, teach it to people privately, so they can be properly informed. And this information cannot be covered up like what the mainstream media won't report fully on the full information, like Lester Holt, MSNBC, and David Murrell from NBC Nightly News. It'll force them, why they're a lot of times now they're being forced to report more of the real information, because the general public is seeing through their scams and their lies and what they're not showing. So now the mainstream media is being forced to report on more truthful information, like a lot of stuff with Diddy. I look at True Law and Crime channel because you guys are calling them out. So they're going to be forced to start having a report on this stuff. Yep, Aldous Huxley. Yep, Brave New World. Look up who Aldous Huxley was. They don't. That's right, the elites. He was the guy that I guess they wrote the book. It was a book first, but I found out it's a movie. I think you can watch the old clips of the movie. You can pull it up on YouTube. By the way, watch it for free. That's one thing. I don't abandon YouTube, even though it is controlled by the cabal, unfortunately. But I'm giving you guys inside baseball so you can counter what they're doing. So they can't shut all of our voices up as we're exposing their agenda. Because remember, the elites, they're scared. We're winning. That's why Klaus Schwab was scared. He doesn't like freedom of speech. When that Japanese reporter went up to him and she told him she wasn't with the mainstream media, he asked her, and he walked away with his bodyguards. These are sick people, scared. She was no threat. You could have done an interview with her, Klaus Schwab, you evil scumbag. You and Yuval Noah Harari, we're on to you. And Yuval Noah Harari admitted he did an interview. He's a liar. That interview he did with what's that guy's name? Who's friends with Mark Zuckerberg? I forget the guy's name. Says there is no ruling class elite. He's a liar because he's part of it. Yuval Noah Harari wrote a book, talked about they want to replace human beings with AI, artificial intelligence. Says they no longer need humans anymore. By his own admission, publicly, he can't take it back. He's already said it publicly on the record. Says we don't need humans anymore. They want transhumanism. They want to merge us with AI. So just be aware they're being exposed. So they can't cover up anymore. They have to try to cover up. They can't have it out in the open what their agenda is. They wanted to have it out in the open. But because so many people are awake, they have to do their evil deeds behind doors. That's what the elites, but we're exposing their criminality. And they don't like that, folks. That's what's going on. Had to do the sinister voice for you guys. Add a little comedy to it, so you guys understand. They don't like that. So we're winning. More people are waking up. May the force be with you guys. Until next time, I'm gonna get out of here. That's my time, But I just want to let you guys know. I told you guys about the dreams. I'm feeling really positive. By the way, positive energy. So until next time, may the force be with you guys. You guys, everyone, have a good one. Dorsey's Resource, I'm out. I'm Mito Arrivo Durchi. Jai Jin.